Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. Today we're going to be looking over the 1975 DC Comics Claw, the Unconquered. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you some of my own work. This is Random Access. It's a full-size, full-color comic book that I produce every month along with some other artists. This one, for example, has Paul Courtjohn and Jeremy Duncan. And this was actually number 32, whereas 33 has come out and came out last month. And that has Jeremy Duncan, Shane Evans, Doug Roberts, Dan Goodwin, with logos by Neil Devlin. And you can get these at patreon.com/Alexander Turbin. And it's just $3 a month for up to 20 pages. And the page length really is determined by the artist that I'm working with, and what they come up with and when they come up with it and stuff like that. Eventually we'll land on 20 pages every month for $3. How can you beat that possibly? Anyway, Claw, the Unconquered. So I was looking this up, and because obviously this is a Conan clone, and they were trying their hardest, DC, to cut into that Marvel market of Conan the Barbarian and stuff, and it's actually pretty good. We're going to get into this, but a few things. It only went for actually 12 issues, and it's written by let's see, David Micheline is the writer. Ernie Chua is the artist, and I guess he did the pencils and the inks because it just says artist. And Joe Orlando is the editor. But I think they went to 10 pages or 10 issues, and then another creative group took it over, and then it was canceled because I guess in 75 DC put out a whole bunch of comic books, and then shortly after, like a year and a half later, there was this DC implosion where so many of these books were canceled and stuff. But the interesting thing is they had two issues. I don't know if that was 11 and 12. They had two issues that were completely written, penciled, colored, inked, and everything. And they eventually did reprint that in a I can't remember exactly what it was called. Some kind of not an anthology, but a collection, some sort of collection. But the interesting thing is, there were apparently only 35 of them printed. So I can only imagine the cost of it, and because I looked it up on eBay and I was trying to figure out where it is and if I could get a copy, if nobody knows about it, but obviously people know about it. So anybody that knows anything about Claw, the Unconquered, let me know if you have a copy of the reprints that only 35 were printed, because that's pretty amazing. All right, so let's get into this. So like I said, it's just, it's basically, and check this out, this awesome Hostess Twinkies little advertisement. I think that they should collect all of the Hostess Twinkie advertisements. Would you buy that book if they collected all of that together? I probably would. I don't know. I'm kind of lame like that. But here, anyway, it's an obvious Conan ripoff, and they've got their he comes into this city, and it looks very much like every other Robert E. Howard Conan, Savage Sword of Conan kind of thing. And he's sitting there. But here's the thing about Claw. He has a messed up hand, and that's why he's called Claw. That's not his actual name. He has some sort of demonic looking hand, and he wears this gauntlet. At first I was like, is this gauntlet like supposed to be not a real hand, but like how does he move it around and stuff? Because he does grab things and stuff. But no, it's actually a hand, like a malformed demon looking hand underneath the gauntlet. And so that's why he's called Claw. So somebody's trying to steal from him. Claw realizes that's what's going to happen. He just throws him through, I don't know what this is, some sort of a bar. Oh yeah, he throws him into a bar, and or tavern. I guess they don't call them bars there. They call them taverns. And I'm not going to go back and talk about the writing and the art, but this Ernie Chua, I don't really know him. Anybody else out there really know his art and stuff? But he's pretty cool. It's pretty good stuff. The thing is, when you start something like this, you have to have a really fantastic artist, and I think that they were just like, let's get the one that looks like John Buscema as much as we can, and we'll let him have the reins of this. And he does a good job of it. None of the art is too terribly bad, and I actually enjoy it. And the writing is actually pretty cool too. But it's standard Conan fare. There's nothing groundbreaking in here whatsoever. So he gives the thief a good hard talking to after he throws him through the doorway or whatever. And then there's this serving wench, and she inadvertently sees the glove that the claw has, and she pulls it off him, and that's where you first see his weird looking demonic cursed hand, and she gasps and stuff. And then she is really a wench, though. She is really a wench, because she several times through this book just acts like that. So she takes off. He's eating his meat and stuff, and he's not too perturbed by her. At first she was like, "Oh, you're so handsome," blah blah blah. But then she goes running to the owner of the tavern, telling him that she's seen the claw, and that maybe there's something to go on about it. He's the one girl, you're sure? Because if you're lying to old Tarmag, oh no, good master, I swear, his hand is webbed like some horrible serpent. So she tells him, Claw, I keep wanting to call him Conan. Claw makes his way out of the tavern, not happy with the tavern at all, not happy with the food, not happy with anything. Makes his way out of the tavern, and then he's attacked by a group of thugs or whatever, and it's actually I think it's this guy's band of bad guys or whatever. And so they're attacking him, and the Claw he slowly makes short work of them. I say slowly, but he makes short work of them, and he's like attacking them and stuff. He does, what's he do? He gets rid of his blade. He loses his sword or something. He sticks it in somebody. He loses it, but then he takes another blade from somebody else. So it's a good old fashioned barbarian fight, which is always cool and fun to see. And it's not too unlike any of the Conan things that you would see, any of the Conan battles. He is the mastermind. This Torag, or whatever his name is, Tarmag. He says something. What's he say? And as for you, fat one, never let it be said that Vulcan, because that's Valken. That's his real name. His real name is Valken, not Claw, is unmerciful. For I shall allow you to live, although with alterations that will make you wish for years to come that I hadn't. But then the city guards come, and Claw, he's not too anxious to mess with more city guards or mess with more people. So he's like, I'm just going to take off. And then so this Tarmag, I guess he catch him. He's a thief, a murderer. So he's using the city guards to his own advantage, which often happens. So then, before we switch to another scene, it says time passes as the portly innkeeper's hurried footsteps take him to Castle Darkmourn, the mist-shadowed citadel where dwells Oculus of the Yellow Eye, Lord Ruler of Pytheria. So Pytheria is the city or country or whatever, and Oculus is the king. So Tagmar, I'm going to go back and see it. Tarmag goes to Oculus, and he tells it about this Claw, and he was supposed to capture the Claw, but he fails. So he says, does this information that I have, is that sufficient for any kind of reward that you may have for me, sir? And the king says, Oculus, the king says, yes, you'll get your reward. And the guard in the back uses his knife and stabs Tarmag. I guess I don't have to learn his name anymore because he's dead. And so Tarmag is dead. And Oculus says, you were wise, O king, that churl's wagging tongue could have proven dangerous. Miftug, I need not your sorcery to tell me that. And as for you, Zenon, your blade was useful as always. So he's thanking his wizard and his guard, I guess. So then it's a little bit of an odd segue from him being the king. Like a beaten dog, silence slinks into the hall, settling softly over the players, 3 grinning conspirators in the leering face of death, a scene most familiar to the eyes of time, for it has been played before. So that is the segue. It is a flashback to when Oculus was a young guy, and he goes to the wizard, and the wizard is still the same age because he's a wizard, I guess. And he says, I want to be king, and I want you to tell me you said I was going to be king, and I need you to look into your, orb or your magics and tell me exactly when I'm going to be king. So the old wizard does. He looks through the orb and he says, even though you will be king, you will be deposed by a man with a claw. Basically saying that a man with a claw is going to take your kingdom and take your life and take everything. So Oculus says, for a man of scruples such as the task might have proven difficult, for Oculus of the yellow eyes. So he is going to, this is almost biblical. It's almost biblical in the way that some of the story is told, and that he's the king and he's got this this thing that is going to stop him from being king, make him lose his power. So he tries to find whoever is going to be king, or whoever's going to keep him from being king. So he goes to the king that is ruler now, because he is a prince, and so this must be his father. And he says, Krieger. So he finds out. Let's go back and read this. Only one in all of Pytheria with such a hand, Krieger of Canon Wood. So they find this Krieger guy, or he tells the king that this Krieger guy is going to usurp him and be the death of him. The king says he's going to look into it. And then later, Oculus takes his bodyguard, the one that we saw later, and tells him to go to this Krieger and to kill him. Basically kill him, but he wants to get some sort of confession out of him first. But Krieger is a loyal subject, and he says, I would never do anything to hurt the king. And so the guard says, that's not what I was looking for. And so he starts running away, and he gets a spear in the back for his efforts. And that's what... And of course, milady, I can't leave anyone alive to dispute that report. Now can I? So his wife gets mowed down by this guard, this Oculus's guard, and he kills everybody in the ranch. But, and this is kind of something that I didn't really understand at first. I thought that maybe the baby, who is actually Baby Claw, was left by Krieger or the wife. But I think that it was just left by somebody in the river. So it's very Ten Commandments and biblical. So he's left in the river, and he's cooing and stuff. And you think he's going to die. But a stranger with white hands and a white robe says, hush, child, fear not. Your time has not yet come. For thee there are tasks awaiting, tasks that only you may perform. So the little claw, he has the little claw, and he holds the little stranger's hand. And so that's pretty much what goes on from there. The king does get killed by Oculus, and Oculus does take his power, and he becomes king himself. But he's always thinking about the clawed man and how he's going to be, his power is going to be taken by him, and how it's ordained or foretold that all of this stuff's going to happen. So he goes back to the wizard, and he says, why your dreams so true, sire? There does live another who bears the webbed dragon hand. So he was thinking that Krieger was indeed the dragon hand guy, and that he had taken care of it, but he was having these nightmares and stuff, not knowing that the baby was actually the clawed man. His name is Valken, though deformity has earned him the feared title of Claw. The name matters not, Miftung, for the fact remains, there still exists one who would oppose my ultimate domination of the globe, and like his predecessor, he must be located. So the wizard and Oculus formulate this plan. They're going to give this guard, who, yes, they are appreciative. The guard will do all whatever Oculus tells him to, but he gives him this giant diamondy thing, emerald, I guess, and he tells him, I'm going to teach you how to use this emerald, and we're going to set a trap for Vulcan, and all things are going to be taken care of. And he says, "Your most do I detect a hint of self-satisfaction in your manner, wizard? You're most observant, my lord. 'Tis true, for young Zedon has become overly ambitious, and 'twould not be long ere the desired the throne himself." So they're trying to get kill two birds with one emerald, so they say. So Claw is still in the city, and he sees the serving wench from before, who told on him to Tarmag, or whatever his name was, and so she's like, "Easy with that sword, handsome one. How can I guide you to safety if you split my gizzard?" And so she's there to help him, and she guides him to an old temple. And this is the part that I really find interesting. It's got some H.P. Lovecraft hints to it, and it's got, it's nothing new, but it's got some really cool. It's got some really cool designs, and I'm all for old gods, old evil gods being in the realm of whatever it is. So she brings him to this old abandoned temple, and it was abandoned because the religious were afraid of their own god, which is really kind of an interesting part of that. And was it that it was abandoned, or did the god actually kill them? That is something to be seen. So they go and they hang out, and they think that they're going to be safe. But then the guard comes along, and he is told the magical words by the wizard, and he puts the ruby down, and the statue of the god. This is very reminiscent of Conan 2, pretty much. And so the god comes to life and starts to attack Claw, and he attacks the serving wench. But Claw, even though this has been a trap, and flee, girl, while I still have reason left to fight the thing. You have maybe betrayed me, girl, but no one deserves such an obscene fate. So even again, the third time, pretty much, Claw saves her, even though she does not deserve to be saved. So the god creature breaks his sword, but Claw finds a spear. He throws the spear at the god's mouth, and he kills it, a la the thing in Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. Anyway, so it goes splush, and he kills it, and it's got a horrible stench. And then they realize that the life force, the energy that he was saying earlier that it needed to come alive, was actually from him. And he takes his sword from him because he lost it, because the god killed him, or because the god took it and broke it. So then he's going to leave, and the serving wench has the audacity to say, "Take me with you. I don't have any place safe to go." And so she does, because he's an idiot, because Claw is not like Conan. Conan, I don't think, would have taken her for a third time. I think for the third time, he'd been like, "No, are you kidding?" So they stop at an oasis, and he says, "You better fill up your wineskin because we've got a long travel to go, and we're not going to have a lot of places where we can fill up with water." And so he's filling up his water skin, and behind him, she's got a knife, and she's going to slit his throat or stab him or whatever. And he's like, "Why would you do that? Why would you betray me a fourth time?" And she says, on that tree over there. And she's showing him this little reward, 10,000 drachnirs for the head of and right hand of Vulcan the Claw. So that's why she betrayed him. And he just leaves her there. And I don't know whether she gets back to, I bet she goes back to the city and gets safe and, comes back for another betrayal. So that's pretty much how it ends. Claw leaves. It's very much, he's going to go from adventure to adventure. There's only 12 issues, like I said, and 10 of them were only the ones that were published by DC early on in 75. And then I think it was 81, I think, that they said that the reprint was, or actually it's not a reprint, it was printed for the first time. It's kind of like how the Rogue first appearance was really a reprint of books that hadn't been completed before, which is very interesting to me. Very, very interesting. So anyway, so there it is. Claw, the Unconquered. Tell me what you guys think. I did like it. I am going to give it a review. It's not anything groundbreaking. Would I get more? Probably not. Probably not. It's not Conan. I always want it to be Conan. Whenever Claw talks, I want Conan's words to come out of his mouth, but they don't. And it's just your standard sword and sorcery fare. So I do love it. I might get it. Just because I love sword and sorcery, and I'll pretty much pick up anything sword and sorcery. So I will. I would give it a base 7, like I always do for that kind of thing. So overall, I'm gonna keep it at 7. I'm gonna keep it at 7. The artwork is pretty good, but nothing's fantastic. The writing is pretty good, but nothing fantastic. It's standard stuff going on, and which is perfectly good. And so yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. Anybody out there who's read Claw, read any of the other Claws, I would really like to hear if you think it gets better as the series goes on, or does it get worse and that's why it's canceled, and what you think about it. But anyway, Claw the Unconquered getting a 7. If you're new to the channel, this is the kind of stuff that I do. I review usually indie comics from the 70s, 80s, 90s, whenever. But also I love to just, I love to go over old comics or weird comics, stuff that a lot of people haven't seen or had any kind of knowledge of. I had never heard of Claw before, so it was really interesting to read, even though it wasn't that fantastic. You might as well just go read any of your other old Conans as far as I'm concerned. But let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. It is a Monday, so we've got lots of stuff coming up. I'll probably do a reading tomorrow because I want to get through that Born Again. And yeah, again, thanks for watching and have a great week. And I will see you guys later. And as always, keep on creating.